Welcome to Talk of the Town. This is an official podcast from the town of Pinetop-Lakeside to expand upon community topics shared through the Talk of the Town newsletter. Here we will give you more detail, respond to questions, and deliver information about community news and happenings. Hey, it's Rob Hefner here for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. This is Talk of the Town. And today we've got a special guest from the National Weather Service. I have Tony Merriman. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Thank you for being here. So what's your position there? What's the title?
My position here is the Warning Coordination Meteorologist.
Okay. And what would you say you'd kind of do almost day to day, or is there a day to day for you?
The great thing about this job, it's different from day to day, but overall, I'm the outreach liaison. So I link our weather services with different federal agencies and try to make sure that our weather forecast makes sense and appropriate government officials take appropriate actions based off of weather information.
Okay, you took me through where the National Weather Service sits, but if you wouldn't mind, take us through that again, just so everybody understands, what like NOAA's above you and that. Just take me through that little rundown that you gave me.
Right. So National Weather Service, we provide weather services across the United States. There's 122 offices across the country, but our parent agency is NOAA. And so when you hear NOAA or National Weather Service and it has to deal with weather, it's all the same thing. So it's all basically federal weather.
Okay, awesome. So we've had pretty decent weather when it comes to moisture lately. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We had a pretty good monsoon season and followed up by a really good winter season.
Okay, so what's our concern level then? A lot of people are like, well, wow, we're not going to have any concerns coming into the spring and summer because, we've had so much moisture. Well, what's some of the drawbacks or things we need to think about?
So every year, no matter what our previous summer or winter is, we always have a fire season. So it will always dry out. It might be not as long duration as in the past, but we will dry out, and we definitely do need to be prepared for fire season.
Okay. As the snow starts to melt, what else do we have to be concerned with?
With the snow melting and even some rain events, rain on snow, we have to be concerned with the potential for flooding, high flows down creeks and streams and rivers, things like that. So that's a pretty typical part of February and March is having some flooding issues, but as long as nobody's driving in flooded roadways or anything like that, we should have a pretty good safe spring melt.
Okay. So I know that having good snowpack is good because it crushes down a lot of the grasses and things, but another thing that happens when we add moisture to the ground is they grow, don't they?
Right. Yeah. So like any type of grasses, fine fuels, or even our larger fuels like trees and everything, the water is really good for plants to grow. And as we get to longer days, warmer temperatures, and you have that moisture seeping in, a lot of that grass and trees, they'll start growing and blooming as well. And that's a great thing. But as we know, we get into April and May, they can start to dry out and cure and could become fire hazards as we get into May.
Okay. As we start to trend into the spring, what does it look like for us for wind and for moisture moving forward?
So our colleagues at the Climate Prediction Center, they're out of Washington, D.C., they're still holding on to a weak La Nina type pattern, and typically what we see is warmer and drier than average conditions for the spring. But at least for the next couple of weeks, it looks like we'll be seeing a little more precipitation as we go into the end of March, and so we might still have kind of a delayed start to our fire season because of that. But as of now, when we're looking beyond April, May, and June, we're looking at odds tilted in favor of warmer and drier than average. Now, in terms of intensity, we're not really sure just how much warmer or drier they're expecting, but that's kind of what we're looking at for rain.
Okay, talk to me about, there's one critical thing that you do that we monitor and we pay attention to, especially through the summer, and that's red flag warnings. You guys issue those, and can you tell me a little of the parameters around how you issue a red flag warning?
Right. So we do our forecast for the next 7 days, and we update that forecast pretty much every 6 hours whenever we're working. We're here 24/7, 365. A red flag warning is issued whenever we're forecasting winds above 25 miles an hour or greater, relative humidities of 15% or less, and the fuels in the medium, high, or extreme category. So all three of those things need to be in our forecast in order for us to even put out a red flag warning. And even before we do a red flag warning, we do a fire weather watch so that folks can be prepared for, let's say, fire conditions in the next 2 or 3 days from there.
Is there a website or a thing that people here locally can look at? And because, we obviously post them up and then you see them on the various social media platforms. But is there a way people can go, oh, here's a thing I can go to and know what it is coming up for a red flag warning?
Yeah, just weather.gov is a good website to go to. That's where all of our information is. And in the upper left corner, you can just search Pinetop-Lakeside, and it'll give you the exact forecast for Pinetop-Lakeside.
Awesome. Very cool. What else do you want people to know? And like I said, I'd like to have you come back on every so often just to remind people what's going on, what the conditions are, and where we're trending. But what else would you like people to know?
Just be aware that, even though we had a great winter and kind of like a top 5 or top 10 precipitation winter this year, we still will get a fire season. It happens every year. It just might not be as long or as intense, but just all of the safety precautions you can do to prevent wildfires. Definitely don't burn on red flag days. Just be aware of dragging chains, things like that. And definitely pay attention to fire restrictions as well, because we work closely with the local community, the White Mountains region, and even the fire chief at Pinetop-Lakeside to determine when fire restrictions go into effect. So we offer input into that, but those folks actually make the decisions to go into fire restrictions.
Awesome.
So we all want to enjoy the fires, or we all want to enjoy the woods, camping, everything. Do everything you can to prevent wildfires.
Yeah, and with campfires, we love campfires, love being around them, but you always want to make sure that when you go to leave, and that even means today to go out to go on a trail, a hike, you're leaving, not leaving the entire area, but leaving that fire. When you leave it, make sure it's out. And if you wouldn't be comfortable sticking your hands in the middle of it, it's not out.
Right. Yeah, you want to over drench it without a doubt. And, if you have kids or grandkids, if you trust them to put their hand on what you just did, then you did a good job. But if you don't, you need more water, more dirt, and just make sure everything is all the way out when you're done. Awesome.
Well, once again, that is Tony Merriman with the National Weather Service. I'm Rob Hefner here for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. This is Talk of the Town. We'll see you again here soon.